This is VFL Weekly Wrap for round 17. It was a busy week. I went to 3 games in 3 days, but I'll go through the other scores first. An upset here. Sydney defeated North Melbourne by 11 points at Tramway Oval. 14-8-92 to 11-15-81. North Melbourne kicked 8 goals 5 in the first quarter and only 3 goals 10 after that. They were 37 points ahead during the first quarter. Well, they're in bad form. They've lost four of their last 5 games. They slip out of the top 10. Sydney get another win. They've had a miserable season, but they've hurt North Melbourne's chances now with that win. Now, Saturday afternoon as well, Gold Coast Suns defeated Port Melbourne by 13 points at Northport Oval. 10-9-69 to 8-8-56. Once again, Port Melbourne, just 1 goal in the first half at home. That's just dreadful. Now for the Suns, Alex Davies had 26 possessions, 10 tackles, 12 clearances. Port skipper Harvey Hooper, 19 possessions, 11 tackles, 9 clearances. Now Port Melbourne have lost 5 in a row. And at home, at Northport Oval, they're 1 win and 7 losses. Absolute disastrous. The season couldn't come quick enough for them. Now, battled the big boys at Ipswich, and Footscray got Brisbane by 26 points. 17-12, 114 to 12-16, 88. The game was over a quarter time. Footscray 8 goals 2 to 2 goals. Mate, they were 5 goals 1 before Brisbane even scored, so they jumped them. And during the second quarter, Footscray was up by as much as 59 points. So it was 10 goals. So they had the game won. Despite that, Brisbane wasted the last quarter. They kicked 4 goals 10 in that last quarter. Brisbane smashed the inside 50s, 59 to 38. They had 18 more clearances and they still got belted. Footscray, they're the form team. They've won 7 in a row. They'll be hard to beat. Brisbane are back in the pack now. And these three Sunday games I'll go through. Casey annihilated Carlton by 108 points at Casey Fields. 22-18, 150 to 6-6-42. For Casey, Aidan Johnson, 5 goals, 11 marks, 21 possessions. That's probably just ruled Carlton out for the season now, I think. That's the second time Casey won by over 100 points this year. Now, a game at Preston City Oval saw a disappointing match there. Frankston smashed the Northern Bullets by 72 points, 22-9, 141 to 10-9, 69. Now for Frankston, Corey Ellison, career high. Look at this, 10 goals 4, 21 possessions, 11 marks. That's the second time that a place kicked 10 goals at Preston City Oval this year. Now for the Bull Ants, Pat Fairley had another good game. 37 possessions, 8 clearances. Jean-Luc Verasaris, 31 possessions, 8 tackles, 2 goals. Frankston, they've won their last 7 games against the Bull Ants. They've won their last 4. They've had a good draw, but they're winning games and they're well into that top 10 now. Battle of the big boys, match of the week. Box Hill got Williamstown by 10 points at Point Gellibrand, 13-14, 92 to 13-4, 82. Box Hill were 15 points behind in that last quarter and then slammed on the last 4 goals to pinch it. Ned Reeves, the Box Hill player, 3 goals, 40 hit-outs, 7 clearances. Box Hill have won their last 6 games. They are 2 games clear on top. They are the team to beat. Now, Williamstown have lost their last 2. Williamstown have lost 6 games. 5 of those losses has been when they've been in front in the last quarter and got overrun. So this is a big problem for Williamstown. 5 losses like that. They've done it 2 weeks in a row. Right, it was busy. I went to 3 games. One on Friday at Windy Hill between GWS and Essendon. GWS just too good for them. 21-point winners. 15-11, 101 to 12-8, 80. It was a good game of footy. Nice and sunny day. Ground in good condition. It was actually a pretty good crowd there. It was a very competitive game. It was pretty level up to three-quarter time. 4 goals each in the first quarter, 4 goals each in the second, 3 goals each in the third, but GWS kicked 4 goals to 1 in the last quarter, just showing their abilities there. They were just too good. Now for GWS, Harvey Thomas, 3 goals. Louis Montgomery, Nick Madden, James Lugsden and Phoenix Gothard each kicked 2. For Essendon, Noah Scott and Sadal Harvey kicked 3 each. Joy Menzies kicked 2. The possessions, James Leake for GWS, 35 possessions, 8 tackles, 8 clearances. Nick Madden in a ruck, 26 possessions, 9 marks, 32 hit-outs, 2 goals. For Essendon, the skipper, Jackson Haitley, 30 possessions, 8 tackles. Noah Scott, he kicked 3 goals too and had 22 possessions. GWS had 57 more possessions, 15 more inside 50s, 29 more hit-outs, 11 more clearances. Now the game was up for grabs in that last quarter. 21 minutes into the last quarter, GWS were still 7 points up, but then they kicked 2 goals 2-0. As I said, it was a good game of footy. Now this is interesting. The last time they met was round 1, 2023, so it was basically 2.5 seasons ago. Essendon smashed them by 80 points at the hangar and also went to that game. Now that's the very first time GWS have beaten Essendon in the VFL. Essendon can't win a game at the moment. Too many injuries. They have lost 8 in a row. GWS have snuck into the top 4. Now I went Saturday night at Whitnall between Collingwood and Geelong, the TV game. This is a Geelong home game. And Collingwood got them by 15 points. 11-9-75 to 8-12-60. Collingwood jumped them. 3 goals, 1 to 3 points in the first quarter. Geelong dominated the second quarter. 5 goals, 5 to 1-3. But then Collingwood took over in that third quarter. 5-1 to 1-1. Last quarter, Collingwood 2 goals, 4 to 2 goals, 3. For Collingwood, Rowan Still was the difference. He kicked 4 goals. Ash Johnson and Liam Hughes kicked 2 each. For Geelong, Ollie Henry kicked 2. And Kyton Motofe Forbes, he kicked 2 as well. That's a hard name to say. The possessions for Collingwood, Brady Gray, 36 possessions, 8 clearances. Harry Demeter, mate, he had another good game, this bloke. 27 possessions, 10 clearances. Watch out for him. Oscar Steen, 20 possessions, 21 hit-outs, 8 clearances. For Geelong, Ted Closey had another good game in the VFL. 30 possessions, 7 tackles, 7 clearances. Dry Clark had 30 touches. Jed Buse had 29 touches. Collingwood dominated the free kick count, 28-13. Wow. They also had 13 more clearances. But Geelong kicked the first goal of the third quarter to take it out to 15 points, but then Collingwood just dominated the rest of that third quarter. They kicked 5 goals in 19 minutes to lead by 14 points at three-quarter time, and that was the difference. Well, that during that day, Saturday afternoon was very windy, but when it came to this game, the night game, there was hardly any wind. It rained before the start of the game, but the rain stayed away. The slippery conditions. It was still a good game of footy. Not a bad crowd. A little bit disappointing. Maybe it was a bit too cold. Kept away the fans. The ground at Whitten Oval, again, immaculate condition. Very good atmosphere there under lights. And that probably ended Geelong's season now. Collingwood just too good. They win another close one. Collingwood have won 4 of the last 5 games. Geelong are done and dusted. Now the game on Sunday, the 2 standalone teams went to Coburg City Oval to watch Werribee defeat Coburg by 20 points, 13-11-89 to 10-9-69. Werribee 3 goals to 2 in the first quarter. Werribee 4 goals to 3 in the second quarter. Wasn't a bad first half of footy, but that third quarter is where the game was won by Werribee. 4 goals, 5 to 3 behinds. And last quarter, Coburg put some respectability to the score, but it was too late. 5-1 to 2-4. The goal kickers for Werribee, their main man, Hudson Garoni, he kicked 4. Harry Miller kicked 2. For Coburg, Mitch Pajaski's had a great year. He kicked another 4. Cole Waitman kicked 3. The possessions, Daly Andrews, 34 possessions for Werribee and a goal. Jack Riding, 32 possessions, 8 marks and a goal. Don Brew keeps racking them up. 32 possessions, 13 tackles, 9 clearances. Sam Conway, 53 hitouts for Coburg. Jack Bytel, 27 possessions, 8 tackles. Donovan Tui had 25 touches. Joel Trudgeon, 24 possessions, 12 tackles. And in the ruck, Joe Furphy, 52 hitouts and 8 tackles. Werribee had 71 more possessions. They smashed the free kick count, 25 to 14. They had 18 more clearances. They took 42 more marks. Now, Werribee, they made 6 changes from their last game, and they included 3 more debutants. Quite staggering that a premiership team of the previous season have had 21 players make their Werribee debut this year. 21. Extraordinary. They just keep blooding them. Well, they've got nothing to play for, so it's probably a good thing. Now, Coburg, it was a nice day. It was a win, but it was blowing cross ground. It wasn't too windy. Good crowd. High stakes. I did call Coburg out and say they should be winning this game, but they were awful. Coburg, they lacked intensity. They lacked the poise. They lacked composure. They looked lost. Werribee, after last week's shit show against Casey, they were excellent. They were well organised. They were prepared. They prepared well for that game. And they deserved a win. They absolutely deserved it. Werribee won the last 8 games against Coburg now, so they've gone head to head. Coburg have lost their last 4 games at home. Head to head, Werribee lead 38-25, and at Coburg, Werribee lead 23-13. Now, like I said, that crowd, I was actually disappointed in the crowd because, look, it was a big game for Coburg. They needed to win to get in that top 10. It's a massive game against last year's champions. The crowd just looked subdued. There was absolutely no atmosphere at that ground. It was so disappointing for a high stakes game. And it just resembled a morgue. There was just no urgency. But Werribee deserved a win, but I put a lot of blame on Coburg, but that was a pathetic performance, really. They're not playing finals after that. That was just horrible. I've got to say something about the draw. The draw didn't help them. Look, Werribee got smashed last week against Casey. They were embarrassed, so they had something to prove. You knew they were going to come out fired up. You knew they were going to be prepared and go bang, and they did well. But Coburg, they had a great win against Casey. They had any momentum they lost because of the stupid VFL fixturing, and then they had the bye, and they looked like they were still in the change rooms when they came out to play. But full credit to Werribee. Coburg, their own worst enemies, they're done for the year. They're not making finals. I don't care what anyone says. They're finished. Werribee's salvaging something from a poor season. That's enough of that. The ladder, Box Hill 2 games clear now. Footscray 44, Sharks are 42, GWS Collingwood are 40, Brisbane, Frankston, Williamstown, Richmond all 36, Casey 34. I think that top 10 is set. Those other teams outside it, they're rubbish. They're not making it. North Melbourne are 30, Coburg 28, Carlton 28, Werribee Geelong 24. Stuff the rest. Who cares about them? Now, round 18 games. There's 9 games. 3 teams have to bye. Box Hill, Port Melbourne, Carlton. There's a Friday game. GWS against Sydney. Now, there's 5 games on Saturday. Gold Coast play Brisbane. Southport play Wheelie. Should be a cracker. Essendon play Footscray. Werribee got Richmond at Chirnside. I'm most likely to go to that game. That could be low scoring. Frankston play Collingwood, the TV game. Should be very interesting. 3 games on Sunday. Casey plays Sandringham. That should be another belting there, I think. North Melbourne play Geelong. And Battle for Bell Street 2. Bull Ants against Coburg. If I'm available, I'll be going on that one for sure. Like I say every week, make or break. The season's winding up. There's 4 weeks to go. See you next week.